Thinking.
Nítorí pé wọ́n ti mú mi mọ àṣà àti ṣe ìlú ibòmíràn, ìrònú mi wá yàtọ̀ sí tiwọn.
My mother one day
Ìyá mi ní ọjọ́ kan
told me that she had to influence the woman I would marry.
ìyá mi sọ fún mi pé èmi ni mo máa sọ aya tó máa fẹ́.
No!
Mo ní rárá.
I will choose the woman I want to marry.
Èmi ni mo máa yan aya tèmi fẹ́ fẹ́.
But if I was in Lebanon and growing up, if I was in Lebanon and grew up in
Ká ní
Lebanon,
pé mo wà ní Lebanon tí mo dẹ̀ dàgbà síbẹ̀.
I would not argue with my mother because
Mi ò
that
ní
is the tradition.
jiyàn pẹ̀lú òbí mi nítorí pé ìṣe àti àṣà wa níbẹ̀ yẹn nìyẹn.
But you brought me to Australia.
Ṣùgbọ́n ó mú mi wá sí Australia.
Exposed me to Australian culture.
Ó wá mú mi mọ àṣà àti ìṣe Australia tó yàtọ̀ sí ti ìlú wa.
So how do you expect me to think different?
Báwo lo ṣe wá fẹ́ kí n ronú yàtọ̀ síbi tí mò ń gbé?
The argument stopped.
Àròyé yẹn ó wá dúró.
I joined the military at the age of 18.
Mo wá darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn ológun ní ọmọ ọdún méjìdínlógún.
And about 6 months after I joined the military, my parents returned to Lebanon.
Ní oṣù mẹ́fà lẹ́yìn oṣù mẹ́fà tí mo ti darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn ológun, àwọn òbí mi padà sí Lebanon.
They had worked in Australia for 14 years.
Wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ nílùú Australia fún ọdún 14.
Saved enough money.
Wọ́n tú owó jọ.
And returned back to Lebanon.
Wọ́n wá padà sí Lebanon.
This was their plan.
Ète wọn rèé.
But it wasn't my plan.
Ṣùgbọ́n kò ń ṣe ìpinnu tèmi o.
Their plan took me to Australia.
Wọ́n pinnu láti mú mi lọ sí Australia.
And being experienced in Australia and growing up,
Bí mo ṣe wá ń dàgbà nílùú Australia,
I didn't want to return to Lebanon.
mi ì fẹ́ padà lọ sí Lebanon.
I was Australian in my thinking.
Mo yàtọ̀ nínú èrònú mi.
When I was married 2 years later,
Lẹ́yìn ọdún méjì tí mo ṣègbéyàwó,
I told my parents about my wife.
mo sọ fún àwọn òbí mi nípa aya mi.
She was an Australian.
Ó jẹ́ ará Australia.
And after 1 year, we decided to travel to Lebanon so my wife could meet my parents.
Lẹ́yìn ọdún kan, mo pinnu láti lọ sí Lebanon kí aya mi lè rí àwọn òbí mi.
I wondered how my mother would treat my wife, Australian wife. I wondered how my mother...
Mo máa ń rò lọ́kàn mi pé báwo ni ìyá mi ṣe fẹ́ bá aya mi tó jẹ́ ọmọ Australia ṣe.
We landed at the Beirut airport.
A sọ̀kalẹ̀ ní airport Lebanon.
My mother took one look at my wife.
Àgbà ìyá mi wo aya mi.
She embraced her like her special daughter.
Ó wá fàmọ́ra gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ.
She embraced her first before me.
Ó kọ́kọ́ fàmọ́.
When the girls are very young,
Nígbà táwọn ọmọ wọn bá jẹ́ ọ̀dọ́,
they get bandages.
wọ́n mú ohun tí bí bandage.
And they wrap the bandage around this way
Wọ́n
and
wá
that
yí
way.
mú ẹsẹ̀ báyìí.
Very tight.
Pé ó dẹ̀ máa
It's
le
very,
gan.
very painful.
Ó dẹ̀ máa ní wọn lára, ó máa ń dùn wọ́n.
Because they want the foot to stop growing.
Nítorí pé mi ò fẹ́ kí ẹsẹ̀ wọn kó fẹ̀ jù, kó tóbi jù.
In their culture,
Ní àṣà tiwọn,
a woman is more attractive with little feet.
pé obìnrin ó dùn wò tí ẹsẹ̀ ò bá tóbi.
Where in the Bible does God teach this?
Níbo ló wà nínú Bíbélì tí Ọlọ́run ti kọ́ èyí?
The young girl suffers with pain all her life
Ọ̀dọ́mọbìnrin yìí ṣe náà máa wà nínú ìrora ní gbogbo ayé ẹ̀.
with a deformed foot.
Pẹ̀lú ẹsẹ̀ tí wọn ò jẹ́ kí ó ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kó
Deformed
rí.
foot. To this very day, this is practiced in China.
Títí di ìsinsìnyí wọ́n ń ṣe ní ìlú China àṣà wọn ni.
In Australia, we practice Christmas
Ní Australia, a máa ń ṣàjọyọ̀ Kérésì
and the world.
àti gbogbo ayé.
Do you like Christmas?
Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ràn Kérésì?
I don't.
Èmi ò fẹ́ràn ẹ̀.
God doesn't like Christmas.
Ọlọ́run ò fẹ́ràn Kérésì.
It was born out of a pagan festival.
Ó bí jáde nínú ẹ̀sìn àwọn
Did you know that?
pagan,
Did you know that?
àwọn Judaism.
Christmas is paganism.
Pé Ìkérésìmesì ó jẹ́ pé bíi pé wọ́n fi ń ṣe
Òrìṣà.
When Jesus was born, he was born in a small town, Bethlehem.
Nígbà tàbí Jésù á bí ní Bethlehem ìlú kéréje.
There was no promotion.
Kò sí ìgbéga kankan.
There was no crowds.
kò sí èrò kankan níbẹ̀.
It was obscure birth.
Ó jẹ́ ìbí tó jẹ́ pé kò ní iyì, kò ní ọlá.
We don't celebrate Christmas, but the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus.
Àwa máa kì í ṣàjọyọ̀ ìbí, ṣùgbọ́n a máa ń ṣàjọyọ̀ ikú àti àjíǹde rẹ̀.
The Christmas festival creates a lot of sadness for people who are poor.
Pé ìgbà Kérésì ó máa ń mú ìpọ́njú àti ìrora bá ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn.
We give presents to each other that have been made by hands.
A máa ń fún àwọn èèyàn ní ẹ̀bùn tí a fọwọ́ wa ṣe.
Santa is being honored. Santa.
Ní àárín ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ jẹ́ ọlá.
And the Savior has been taken down and removed.
A dẹ̀ ti mú olùgbàlà wá, a sì ti mú kúrò.
So Christmas we honor Santa.
Pé Kérésì o, àárín ló wà ní gedegbe.
The one who gives us gifts made by human hands.
Ẹni tí ó fún wa ní ẹ̀bùn.
Santa Claus.
Okay, Santa Claus. Ẹni tó fún wa ní ẹ̀bùn jẹ́ pé àtọwọ́dá ni.
It's quite large.
Ó tóbi.
There are 2 doors. You come out of the elevator, there's 2 doors to the apartment.
Tó bá jáde kúrò nínú elevator, ọ̀nà méjì ló tún wà láti jáde kúrò níbẹ̀.
My parents gave us their bedroom to live in.
Àwọn òbí mi wọ́n fi yàrá wọn sílẹ̀ fún èmi àtaya mi láti sùn.
My parents said we want to take you to the village so you can meet your grandparents.
Àwọn òbí mi sọ pé a fẹ́ mú yín lọ sí ìlú o, kẹ́ lè bá àwọn ìyá mi àti bàbá mi pàdé.
So let's get changed. Let's get changed.
Ẹ
Dress.
jẹ́ ká wọ aṣọ mi.
And so I went into this door.
Èmi lọ yàrá báyìí.
My parents went into their door.
Àwọn òbí mi lọ yàrá wọn.
And after 15 minutes, I came out.
Lẹ́yìn ìṣẹ́jú bí mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún mo jáde.
My mother was there.
Ìyá mi wà níbẹ̀.
She took one look at me.
Ó wò mí.
And she screamed.
Ó bá pariwo.
We're not going with you dressed like that.
A ní tẹ̀lé ẹ bó bá múra báyìí.
I said, what's wrong?
Wọ́n ní kí ló dé?
She said, bright green trousers doesn't work here.
Brown.
Bright green.
Okay, pé àwọ̀ tó bá ń tàn kò àfàyè gbà níbí.
I said, this is the fashion in Australia.
Wọ́n ní pé bí a ṣe ń múra l'Australia
They
rèé.
are new trousers.
Pé mo ní trouser tó.
We're not going like that.
Ó là ní lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o.
Okay.
O mo ti gbọ́ ẹ.
I'll go back in.
Mo wá padà sínú
10
yàrá.
minutes later, I changed.
Mo wá wọ aṣọ mìíràn.
I came out.
Mo jáde.
She screamed louder.
Ó wá tún pariwo sí.
I had my yellow trousers.
Yẹ́lò ni mo tún wọ̀.
And by this time, my father, he said, too late, we're not going anywhere.
Okay, bàbá mi wá sọ pé ó ti pẹ́ jù lọ mọ́.
And so we can dress that is good in one place, that is not good in another.
A lè múra débi pé níbì kan wọ́n fàyè gbà, níbòmíràn wọn ò fàyè gbà.
I asked Pastor Sam for permission
Mo gba àyè lọ́wọ́ Pastor Sam
that the team members and I would come in comfortable dress.
pé èmi àti àwọn tajọ wá pé aṣọ tó bá rọ̀ wá lọ́rùn la máa wọ̀.
Because we did not want to offend you.
Nítorí pé a ò fẹ́ ṣẹ̀ yìí.
We understand that you have tradition concerning your code of
Àwa
dress.
mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin ní àṣà nípa ti aṣọ wíwọ̀.
And so we wanted you permission that we could come dressed this way.
Bákan náà la gbàyè ká lè múra tó jọ yín.
Our dress does not offend God.
Ìmúra wa kò mú Ọlọ́run bínú.
Where in the time of Jesus,
Ní ìgbà ayé Jésù.
it doesn't matter whether a person was bare feet, clean or dirty.
Kò ní ṣe bóyá èèyàn ẹsẹ̀ ẹ mọ́ tàbí kò mọ́.
Whether they were rich or poor,
Bóyá olówó tàbí wọn ò lówó.
whether they were weak or strong,
Bóyá wọ́n lókun àbí wọ́n ṣàìlera.
Jesus embraced them as they are.
Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbà wọ́n bó ṣe wà.
But not today,
Kì í ṣe èní.
not my mother.
Kì í ṣe ìyá mi o.
She did not embrace me as I was,
Kò tẹ́wọ́ gbà mí bí mo ṣe rí.
even though my clothes were new and
Bó tiẹ̀
clean,
jẹ́ pé aṣọ mi mọ́ ó tutù.
because she was more concerned as to what people thought of her,
Ohun tí ó kọ́ ni nǹkan táwọn èèyàn sọ nípa ẹ̀.
not what they thought of me.
Kì í ṣe ohun tí mo rò nípa ara mi.
She was thinking of herself.
Ó ń ronú nípa rẹ̀.
the impression of other people,
Ó ń wo ohun táwọn èèyàn máa sọ.
instead of wanting to please God and get his impression.
Ó ń wò pé òun wo Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú bó ṣe ń ṣe.
Be careful about coming to church overdressed.
Ṣọ́ra nípa wíwá sílé Olúwa pẹ̀lú pé kó gbogbo ẹ̀wọ̀.
I don't wish to offend anybody,
Mi ò wá láti ṣe ẹnikẹ́ni o.
but sometimes people dress up to please people.
Pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn máa ń múra dáadáa láti lè tẹ́ àwọn èèyàn lọ́rùn.
But what about the one person in the church who is poor?
Ẹni tó wà nínú ilé tí ó ṣàìní ń kọ́.
How do you make them feel?
Báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ kọ́ máa rò ó?
Your standard of life puts them down.
Ìgbé ayé rẹ ó wá ń rẹ̀ sílẹ̀.
I said to Pastor Sam,
Mo sọ fún
please
Pastor Sam
turn the chairs around.
pé ẹ̀yin àga yẹn kọjú sí àwọn èèyàn.
We want to be one with you.
Nítorí pé a fẹ́ jẹ́ bákan náà pẹ̀lú yín.
We are not special.
À ń ṣe ní ọ̀tọ̀.
The only person who is special is Jesus.
Ẹni tó jẹ́ ẹni tó yàtọ̀ òun ni Jésù.
We live for him.
À ń gbègbè ayé wa fún un.
We dress for him.
Ìmúra wa wà fún Jésù.
We behave for him.
À ń hùwà sí fún un.
Because we want our lives to be pleasing to him.
Nítorí pé a fẹ́ kí ìgbé ayé wa kó wù ú.
My life is not pleasing to you.
Tí ayé mi ò bá wù ọ́,
It's your problem, not mine.
wàhálà tí ẹni o kò ń ṣe tèmi.
Because I live to please God.
Nítorí mò ń gbègbè ayé láti wu Ọlọ́run.
We have not come here to please you.
Ọjà bọ̀ bí wọ́n kò bá gbẹ́ bí wọ́n bá ti yọ ọjà bọ̀ náà ni ó sì wà tí wọ́n ti gbà láti máa fiyèsí bíi fífọ àgọ́ àti kòkò àti ohun èlò idẹ àti àkéte.
So the Pharisees and teachers of religious law asked him, why don't your disciples follow our eight hypocrites? Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you, for he wrote, these people honor me with their lips, but with their hearts are far from me.
Nígbà náà ni àwọn Farisí àti àwọn akọ̀wé bí léèrè wípé èéṣe tí àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀yìn rẹ kò rìn gẹ́gẹ́ bí òfin àtọwọ́dọ́wọ́ àwọn bàbá ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n fi ọwọ́ ìmọ̀ jẹun. Ó dáhùn ó sì wí fún wọn pé òtítọ́ ni Àìsáyà sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ nípa ti ẹ̀yin àgàbàgebè bí a ti kọ pé àwọn ènìyàn yìí ń fi ètè wọn bọlá fún mi ṣùgbọ́n ọkàn wọn jìnnà sí mi.
Their worship is a farce, for they teach man-made ideas as commands from God. For you ignore God's law and substitute your own tradition. Then he said, you skillfully sidestep God's law in order to hold on to your own tradition.
Ṣùgbọ́n lásán ni wọ́n tẹríba fún mi tí wọ́n fi òfin ènìyàn kọ́ni fún ẹ̀kọ́. Nítorí tí ẹ̀yin fi òfin Ọlọ́run sí apá kan, ẹ̀yin fi èsì òfin àtọwọ́dọ́wọ́ tí èyí ti ènìyàn bí irú wíwẹ ohun èlò àti àgọ́ àti irú ohun mìíràn pípọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ̀yin ń ṣe.
For instance, Moses gave you this law from God, honor your father and mother, and anyone who speaks disrespectfully of fathers and mothers must be put to death. But you say it is all right for people to say to their parents, sorry, I can't help you. I have vowed to give to God what I would have given to you.
Nítorí ó sì wí fún wọn pé lóòótọ́ ni ẹ̀yin kọ́.
So you can see the situation.
Ẹ̀rí ipò ohun tí a kà.
Jesus, who is the truth,
Jésù tí ń ṣe òótọ́.
he came among us. He came to us
Ó wá nípasẹ̀ wa, ó wá sọ́dọ̀ wa.
to set us free from our traditions
Láti fún wa ní òmìnira kúrò nínú àṣà
that prevented us from knowing the truth,
tí kò jẹ́ ká mọ òótọ́,
experiencing the truth,
tí kò jẹ́ ká ní ìrírí òtítọ́,
living by the truth.
tí ò jẹ́ ká gbé nípa òtítọ́.
And Jesus said the truth will set you free.
Jésù sọ pé òtítọ́ yóò sọ ọ́ di òmìnira.
So I'm looking to you today.
Mo wò yín lénìí.
You were born in tradition. You were born into tradition.
A bí wa sínú àṣà.
That's not your decision.
Ìpinnu yín kọ́ nìyẹn.
That's not your fault.
Kì í ṣe ẹ̀bi yín.
But as you follow Jesus,
Bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ń tẹ̀lé Jésù.
he wants to strip you of all tradition
Ó fẹ́ mú gbogbo àṣà kúrò lára yín.
that clash with the truth of God.
Tí ó forí gbá Òtítọ́ Ọlọ́run.
The truth of God is life.
Òtítọ́ Ọlọ́run ni ìyè.
Tradition is death.
Àṣà ikú ni.
But not every tradition.
Kì í ṣe gbogbo àṣà o.
Only the ones that clash with the truth.
Eléyìí tí ó lòdì sí òótọ́ Ọlọ́run nìkan ni.
Please forgive me if I have offended anybody.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ dáríjì mi ò tí bá ṣe ẹnikẹ́ni nínú
That
yín.
is never my purpose.
Ó ṣe ìdí tí mo fi
But I do
sọ̀rọ̀
not
yìí.
want to allow Satan to continue to sell tradition.
Ṣùgbọ́n mi ò fẹ́ kí Sátánì kó máa pọ́n lójú pẹ̀lú àṣà.
No,
Rárá,
Jesus has come.
Jésù ti wá,
We have the truth.
a ní òótọ́.
We can only worship him in spirit and truth.
A kàn lè jọ́sìn fún nínú ẹ̀mí àti ìwà mímọ́ nínú
Not with
òtítọ́.
tradition.
Kì í ṣe nínú àṣà.
These children are waiting to be influenced correctly.
Àwọn ọmọ yìí a máa kọ́ wọn dáadáa ní ọ̀nà tó tọ́.
Don't allow the culture of your country
Má ṣe jẹ́ kí àṣà ìlú rẹ
to form their thinking.
kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní darí ìrònú wọn.
Set their values of life.
Kí wọ́n lè mọ ohun tí a ní láti ní ayé.
Or choose the patterns they're living.
Tàbí kán yan irú ìgbé ayé tí wọ́n gbé.
Teach them the truth
Ẹ kọ́ wọn ní òtítọ́
early.
ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí.
And that's what's changed my life.
Òun ló yí ayé tèmi padà.
And if my mother was alive today,
Ká ní ìyá mi ṣì wà láyé lẹ́yìn mi.
I would still bow head with her.
Mo sì máa forí gbárí.
I love her, I respect her.
Mo fẹ́ràn wọn o. Mo gbọ́dọ̀.
I belong to him.
Mo jẹ́ tirẹ̀.
I've been born again
Mo ti di àtúntí
by the truth of God.
nípa òtítọ́ Ọlọ́run.
I've been set free from tradition.
Àti sọ́bílò náà kúrò nínú àṣà.
And I enjoy the wonderful new life.
Mo máa ń gbádùn ayé tuntun tí ìjẹ́ nínú Jésù.
So I'd like to challenge you here this morning.
Mo fẹ́ pè yín níjà láàárọ̀ yìí.
If you would like, I'm very happy to pray for you.
Inú mi máa dùn láti gbàdúrà fún ọ.
God knows exactly where you are.
Ọlọ́run wọ ibi tó wà gbọ́ngàn.
He knows the traditions that keep you contained.
Ó ní ọmọ àṣà tí ó so mọ́.
He's the only one who can set you free
Ó nìkan ló lè sọ di òmìnira o.
without hurting anyone.
Láì jẹ́ pé ó ṣe ẹnikẹ́ni.
The music playing slightly take my mother very soft. Very soft. I'm doing very soft. Please. Very soft. If you would love to be set free
Tí o bá fẹ́ di òmìnira
from traditions in your life
kúrò nínú àṣà nínú ayé rẹ
that are holding you back,
tí wọ́n ń fa ẹ̀ sẹ́yìn,
that you can become the person that God has created you to
pé kò lè jẹ́ ẹ̀dá tí Ọlọ́run dá ẹ gangan.
be. If you are ready to do business with God,
Tó o bá ṣe tán láti dòwò pọ̀ pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run,
surrender your whole life to Him.
pé o fẹ́ jọ̀wọ́ gbogbo ayé rẹ fún un.
Stop doing things that He hates.
Jẹ́ ṣe ohun tí kò fẹ́ràn tó kórìíra ayé ìṣerú ẹ̀.
Let me tell you a little bit about my upbringing.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ díẹ̀ fún yín nípa mi.
I was born in Lebanon in a small village.
A bí mi ní ìlú Lebanon ní ìlú kéréje.
I want to see these people here.
Ọ̀fẹ́ sà.
I was born in a small village
A bí mi ní ìlú kéréje
north of Lebanon.
ní ìlú Lebanon.
Lebanon is a very small country
Lebanon jẹ́ ìlú tó kéré
on the northern border of Israel,
ní gúúsù Ísírẹ́lì.
beside the Mediterranean Sea.
Ó súnmọ́ bí òkun ńlá kan.
The village is wonderful, it's small.
Ìlú yẹn ó kéré ṣùgbọ́n ó jẹ́ ìlú tó yanilẹ́nu.
The soil is very rich.
Ilẹ̀ náà ó jẹ́ ilẹ̀ ọlọ́ràá.
In season it grows apples and peaches,
Gbogbo nǹkan tó bá gbìn síbẹ̀ ó máa ń
grapes,
ọsàn
and apricots. Apricots, every vegetable you can think of, it grows easily.
ohun ewébẹ̀ tẹ́ lè rò nípa ẹ̀ ó máa ń wù ní Lebanon.
We have sheep, we have goats, chickens,
A ní ewúrẹ́, a ní àgùntàn, a ní adìyẹ.
and there is a stream beside the village, a stream
Òjò kan wà ní ẹ̀gbẹ́ ìlú náà.
of magnificent water that comes from snow that melts on the top of the mountain.
Pé omi yẹn ó jẹ́ omi tó ń ṣàn wá láti àpáta.
It wasn't my decision to go to Australia.
Kì í ṣe ìpinnu mi láti lọ sí Australia.
It was the decision of my parents.